I've alluded many times to the palpable weakness of the Biden administration. How could it be otherwise with the utter incoherence of Joe Biden? But how is it that the left-wing media don't call out the fact that no such person, cognitively deficit, can be responsible for leading the free world? Listen to this. This is Biden trying to talk about tax avoidance.
For example, there's a situation where there's an estimation of somewhere between $700 billion and $1.3 trillion.
What? I mean, this is elder abuse. Everywhere this weakness to carry an argument is exposed. We've seen Chinese expansionism. We've seen Hamas in the Middle East. Netanyahu bravely holding the fort, Hong Kong, Taiwan. But today, Malaysia has condemned a breach of its airspace and sovereignty by 16 Chinese military aircraft flying in formation over the Malaysian maritime zone in the South China Sea. These were People's Liberation Army Air Force planes, 60 nautical miles off Malaysia's Borneo coastline. What can little Malaysia do except send a diplomatic note? China says it's routine training. When are we going to face the reality the weak free world under a weak US president is just fair game? But it's the protection of this presidential inadequacy that borders on a cover-up. Stories continue to emerge about Hunter Biden's laptop computer. The New York Post has highlighted that while Joe Biden was vice president, his son Hunter was involved in a range of sleazy, influence-peddling, well-remunerated activities. New York Post have photographic evidence that when Biden was vice president, April 16, 2015, he attended a dinner with some unseemly guests on an evening billed to discuss food security. But it just so happened that amongst the guests was the corrupt former Moscow mayor, husband of the Russian billionaire who had paid one of Hunter Biden's firms $3.5 million the year before. The New York Post highlighted photos of the then vice president and the son with an executive of the Ukrainian energy company Burisma who had Hunter Biden on the payroll. And indeed, this bloke, Vadim Pozharsky, emailed Hunter Biden the next day, quote, "Dear Hunter, thank you for inviting me to DC and giving me the opportunity to meet your father and spend some time together. It's realty," he means really, "an honour and pleasure." But didn't President Biden say he'd never met with Burisma officials, even when he was Obama's points man in Ukraine? As the New York Post reports, Burisma was then paying Hunter Biden, who had zero energy expertise, $83,333 a month to sit on the board. But another email from the laptop reveals that Burisma cut Hunter Biden's pay in half in March 2017, right after Joe Biden became a private citizen, no longer vice president. Should no one ask what qualified Hunter Biden for such money if it wasn't access to the then vice president? Had this been any other presidential candidate, the media would be all over it. The Bidens have never denied the laptop was Hunter Biden's before he abandoned it. It's just that now President Biden says he never did anything wrong. With any other political figure, not of the left, every major newspaper in the world would have full investigative teams following up for months. This man's now leader of the free world. But it seems when he was vice president, access was never free.